This is the Hagibis RGB LED on camera light. Hagibis? Not sure. Anyway, let's check this thing out. All right, so this is like a clone of the Boling P1, if I'm not mistaken. It's a light with a little arm built in directly to it. This one's very, very stiff. Like I could definitely see it using like a little key to loosen every now and then, but otherwise this thing feels very solid, that's for sure. It's an HSI reference chart on the back here, which is, HSL, hue, saturation, and luminance reference chart. So you can see which numbers match up with which colors and go directly for that color. This is a 12 watt equivalent light at full power. You can see all the diodes in there. It has white and yellow as well as RGB chips. So it has some nice settings on the side too. You got some tactile dials for FN, which is going to be your function, and dim, which is going to be your power button. These also each have buttons inside of them. There's the set button here, but then there's also the dim button and the FN button as well. So let's move this to the side and kind of check this light out a little bit. It's got a nice switch on top. It's recessed, so you won't bump that ever. It's completely smooth. And this thing is really powerful. So right now it's at 100%. We can bring that down just for this test. We're at around 33% now, so about 1/3 power. It's currently at 5600, and you can see that it matches really well with these other lights that I have, which are fairly accurate. I can adjust that color with the FN button. We can all the way up to 8500 and all the way down to 2500. So there's a lot of range on the bi-color end of the spectrum, and the color looks really accurate. The CRI rating on these, the TCLI, is 97 plus, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's supposed to be a high accuracy light, but those kind of color measurements are slowly falling out of style in the professional lighting community. They're starting to go with some different reference numbers, but I still like to use those as a good measure of kind of a baseline of how good a light is going to be. So when you press the dim button here, you can adjust by 20% increments, which can be really handy if you need to do adjustments on the fly, just get some more light or something like that. And I think it remembers which direction you're going into. So if you were just last going down and you didn't go all the way down, it'll continue to go down the next time you hit that button. Yeah, so as you can see, also the light actually came with some battery power. It's a 3200 milliamp battery inside of it, 7.4 volt output. Only takes a 5 volt input to charge, and you can use a 2 amp charger to keep this thing charged. I tested it last time with an external battery and it worked just fine. All right, so let's go to our function buttons here. That doesn't have any effect on this mode, but once we get into these, you can see it's going to have an effect. All right, so our FN button is going to help us switch between these two options here, and then we can adjust our hue, which as you can see, as we get to, let's say 120, which should be green, 120. That matches up with our color chart on the back. Very cool. Awesome. So when you switch to the FN button, that's going to bring your saturation into play. So you can adjust how much green gets added into your scene. You can make it look like a fluorescent light or, something a little more subtle like that, or you could add your saturation in full and really go extreme. Obviously, dim control controls the dim still. Here we can go to effects scenes. This will allow us to switch between these modes here. So you can see which mode is coming up and the effect that it's going to have. You can see the lower one switches into there, and then we can adjust which ones they're on. So this is going to be a cycle, which is either just straight cycling through the hues, or doing a slower cycle through the hues, or doing a hue shift with strobe as well. So there's a bunch of different effects that you can actually get here. Police, ambulance, and fire. And then you can also get lightning modes, which I think are really cool. Work pretty well when you just switch through them too. They look much more random. And here we've got like a TV mode. So it's got some warm light coming through for TV. And then we also have cool, and it's moving a little bit slower. And then B is going to be the same sort of TV effect in a lighter color. Yeah. So that's all the modes on this thing. Pretty sweet light in my opinion. It's a really, really hard case. This thing's supposed to be able to hold up to 100 kilos, and you can dim it all the way down to 0. So that's kind of nice too. It does move in 1% increments, so you can have, that 1% light if you really want it. Overall, I think this is a really good buy for the money. Got a very robust arm. It's got USB-C charging. So far, I've really been enjoying this light. I'll be taking it out and doing some field testing with it soon. But yeah, definitely check out the profile for more. check out my my page at FCMG Stay, and we'll have some more reviews like this for you soon. Thanks for watching.